Hey YouTube, it's Ashley. Thanks for watching the Substance Project. Today I want to talk to you about commonly confused drinking terms. So with Thanksgiving next week and holiday parties quickly following, I thought it'd be a good time for us to brush up on our drinking terms so that you can look fancy and sophisticated this year. I'll review Aperitif versus Digestive, Liqueur versus Spirit, Liqueur versus Cordial, and all of the terms used to describe champagne sweetness. Let's get started. Aperitif versus Digestive. These terms are used to describe drinks that are served before a meal, aperitif, or after a meal, digestif. So an aperitif is meant to whet the appetite. It's usually dry, which means that it is not sweet because all of the sugar has been converted to alcohol during fermentation. And examples would include dry champagne, a really dry wine, vermouth, even bitters like my husband's favorite, Campari. There are many more, but an aperitif is typically going to be relatively low in alcohol content, as it's meant to relax the diner and stimulate our senses rather than knocking us out before the meal. A digestif, on the other hand, is meant to aid digestion and it's consumed after the meal. So it's typically sweeter, which means it's not dry. So examples here would include brandy, whiskey, a dessert wine, cream sherry, and sweet liqueurs, which we'll talk about in just a minute. Next, liquor versus spirit. This is a trick question because these pretty much mean the exact same thing. There may be some exceptions and distinctions in different parts of the world, but I use these terms to describe anything that is distilled, drinkable liquor. Distilled and drinkable means it's something more refined than your average rubbing alcohol. Tequila, vodka, gin, you name it. Next up, liqueur versus cordial. Again, a bit of a trick question. These two terms are typically used interchangeably and refer to a sweetened liquor. It's typically going to be sort of syrupy in consistency. The only caveat to their ability to swap out for one another is that cordial is typically used to describe more dessert-like drinks. Examples of a liqueur or a cordial are going to be schnapps, flavored liqueurs, like I have a ginger liqueur that I like to use for cocktails, Baileys. They might be served poured over ice, mixed with coffee, mixed with cream, again, more of a dessert flavor. Finally, champagne terms. So in my opinion, these terms are pretty confusing, but let me go through them with you and tell you how I remember them. From most dry to most sweet, we have Brut Zero, Extra Brut, Brut, Extra Dry, Sec, Demi Sec, and Doux. Quite a long list, but here's how I remember them. Brut translated means raw or rough. And in terms of champagne, it means very dry or unsweetened. So I think brut, brutal, rough, raw, unsweetened. Sec translated means dry, so it falls right there in the middle. And Doux translated means very sweet. So I hope that gives you more confidence going into this holiday season to not only enjoy whatever drink you might have in your hand, but be confident about the language as well. If you like what you saw, please give us a thumbs up. If you have any feedback, leave us comments below, and think about subscribing to our channel for new videos every Wednesday. Thanks again for watching, and happy holidays!